Welcome back. This is episode number 64 in our Let's Play series for Space Engineers Survival. I did end up getting the drills on the uranium mine placed. I did have to do a little bit of manual drilling to get at least the first one placed. The second one I was able to place after the first one dug out the trench a little bit. So I've just been leaving that running, although I haven't had the game running. It's been paused. And now we are lagging. Hopefully it will catch up with itself shortly. In any case, I'm going to continue working on that today, rather than going back to coding the autopilot, because there's some things that I want to do on that, but I'm not entirely sure how to do them. So I may do some of that work off camera, and then code review it, rather than doing it all wrong on camera. But we'll see. Oh wow, we are still lagging pretty hard here. One. You can see a little bit of the ore here that I hand drilled. I do want to stay clear of the drills because they will hurt us in survival mode. But anyway, the next extension that we're going to do, and I think it's safe to go ahead and do this. I don't think we need to, drill this all the way down first. Because with the drills at that position, if we move the piston down, as long as we go slowly enough, it shouldn't present a problem.
Meteor storm inbound.
So yeah, the next thing that we're going to want to do is actually place pistons here instead of the drills, and put the pistons along the side for now, with some conveyor tube going back and hooking around to them. So first thing is turn all this stuff off. Pistons, no, the pistons are not off. They should be off because they're not doing anything. So we will turn the drills off. And we will turn the rotor off. And we will grind away the drills. Again. No, we can't alt middle click onto the conveyor. We have to alt middle click onto that. We're still going to have to go drop some of this stuff off. Yeah. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to pick the right toolbar. And we don't have any interior plates on us. Did I stick any in here? No. Alright, awesome. So we get to run back. I am woefully unprepared for this recording, can you tell? Interior plates, motors, construction components, and we also need some small steel tubes we do not have. It's probably more than I need. Need more than that though. That should be enough. No, we had a bunch in the welder. Oops. Oh well. Now we've got tons. I need to set up that auto disassemble thing. Anyway, we're going to come back one here and then hook around. And attach the piston here. And then drill. Nope, that's not the drill. We'll go here. And we can get away with doing the same on the other side because the conveyor tubes do not have a full collision box. So they will not interfere with the piston like the junction would. And I don't think that'll actually be a problem since it's right on the edge there. I guess we'll find out. Make sure our builder is clear. It is not. Build planner, that's what it's called. And all these bits should be in here already. At least as many as we can carry. I'm limiting myself by not placing these first. Because I had a bunch of stuff in my inventory to place them. Apparently not enough stuff. least finish these. Yeah, I did. Now I finished that one. To deal with our energy situation here. That's going to give us the wrong thing. Control G flips us over to build mode. So we can make sure that we've only got the things that we actually need in our queue here. I'm missing a piston part, I think. Got the one, but not the other one. Let's see if I can't withdraw a bunch of stuff that I'm pretty sure I have. I'm going to assume that's because of inadequate conveyor junctions. Try grabbing it from here. Yeah, that's most of it. That's all small steel tubes that I know we have tons of in the welder. There we go. And this piston part is technically done enough, but I would prefer it to be complete in case we have any issues with bumping stuff. Luckily we have some large tubes in here because we originally had 5 drills and now we're only using 2, so we've got some extras. Alright, now that that is done, I'm going to come back in here. Try to identify my pistons. I'm pretty sure these are the 2 I need. Put these in a radial pistons group. these in a drills group. Turn the drills on. Tell the pistons to share tensors. And turn the rotor back on. And that is moving at 0.5 RPMs. I think we can go faster than that. I'm going to try 2. And I'm going to save. Now, assuming that this doesn't get wider as it goes down, these pistons might actually be enough. If they're not, then switching it out so that it's directly on here will work, but we'll have to drill down first before we can do that. In any case, I'm going to turn the radial pistons on and have them extend out at 0.02. And now we need to keep an eye on this and make sure that we're not spinning too slowly, that the drills will get too deep into the rock before it can spin around past where it's sitting. I think that's a risk. I'm going to go ahead and speed these up to 3. I'm going to turn the force back up on them just to make sure that's not slowing us down. It is. Because I want this thing to spin fast enough that it's able to clear out an area far enough for the pistons to be able to push the drill on through and keep spinning. Let's take a look at our cargo and see how we're doing on that front. Just fine. We're not even a quarter of the way full yet, and we've got a lot of stone here that we need to pull out, and a lot of extra components and stuff too. Did I leave the shuttle in here? No, I brought the shuttle back already. Go ahead and grab what I can because we need to take this stuff back. We're done with it. We've got all of the parts that or all the components that we're going to need, because eventually we'll move the pistons around and get rid of those conveyor tubes, but we're only going to ever need those 2 pistons and these 2 drills from here on out, I think. It's possible we'll need another piston, but I don't think so, especially once we get the piston moved on to the end of the conveyor block instead of where it is here. We don't seem to be having any issues with rotation though, so that's good. Once these radial pistons are fully extended, we'll have to retract them back, obviously, and see if we have any issues moving downward with the drills in the position that they're in. We're not quite halfway. And this is pretty much the same progression that I made with the ice drill over at the ice station. Had a slightly easier time of it because, like I said earlier in another episode, is we had a bigger gap. It wasn't a perfectly flat deposit. We had kind of a slope, and I was able to place the drills at this radius without hand drilling it, just as long as the rotor had it positioned towards that gap. Here I had to basically drill out my own gap by hand. Wasn't too bad. We are about to have power issues again though. And we do not have an antenna on here. So unless we have a ship connected to the connector, we can't see what's going on. Lag. That would be a worthwhile thing to go ahead and do, I think. At least get the piece here so that we can
Meteor storm
build planner it.
inbound.
And we can go ahead and put in all the steel plates because we have all that many. And that made room in our inventory for more of this stuff. Yeah, we're getting little holes here, but we don't quite have enough to get to the top, especially not like here. Are we getting stone? Yeah, we're getting stone. We are still getting some uranium though. Stone's not a problem. Still got 2 meters to go.
Energy low.
And we're still getting uranium. to get the small steel tubes out of the welder. You know what? That's going to be a lot of space. Yeah, looks like we do have just enough room to fit everything here. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble some of these motors. Because we don't need nearly that many. And that's kind of a problem for our inventory. We still need the radio components, obviously. And these pistons are now fully extended. So now we will fully retract them. It looks like we did get all the way through the uranium deposit. Maybe not quite all the way around, but for the most part. Oh, I don't think I did both of those. Only did the one. So that one's retracted. And we just need to wait on this one to catch up. This is going to be a bit of a moment of truth here. We're either going to be able to extend these pistons without rebuilding stuff, or we're not. We need to limit it first. I don't want to go down to 1 meter. And I think this is still turned off. Yeah. Now we're not going down the full block width. And we're going down very slowly, so we should be okay, hopefully. Doesn't look like we've got any scraping so far. And we're good. Alright, so now that that's done, we can set the radial pistons back to extending. Let's check on our cargo. I think I'm comfortable with that. We are still disassembling motors here. There's an issue with our inventory sorting in that it is moving everything back out of here. So like it's trying to move all the motors into the inventory, and then the sorter moves them back out. Because we've got it set not to touch the ingots when it's building something, but we don't have it set not to touch the components when it's disassembling stuff. So that's an adjustment that needs to be made. Anyway, we're done with that, so we can switch that back to assembling mode, and we can do our 40 radio components. I don't need one, I need two. Ooh, we just barely have enough room for these. Which tells me I should disassemble some more stuff. Disassemble these construction components. They're not the biggest problem. Honestly, these interior plates are a bigger issue. So I'm going to do them with those too. Anyway, that'll do for now. We will take the remote control here. Camera, battery, gyros, thrusters, antenna, lights, connector. Lag. Video components. Station. and then load up what we can of the stone. I think we'll take first, because once that's out of the way, we'll get relatively little of that. We don't have an urgent need for uranium. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stop lagging, or I'm gonna bump into a wall here. Once this antenna's done, we should theoretically not have to come back in here for a while. Unless we decide to build a scripting block and copy the script over from the ice station, which is likely and would be helpful. Yeah, it's set to a 5 quick radius by default, which is fine. Although, we're going to have to dock up and turn it off and back on again, because that's a thing that happens. We were planning on docking up anyway, though, so that's not a big deal. Full. Way too fast, way too close to this thing. And this lag is killing me. Okay. So apparently I am connecting through this now, or not. Whatever, it's off and back on again, so it should be fine. Go ahead and retract these because they're fully extended. See what our cargo looks like. Still got some space in there. So we'll grab the last of these. And I guess we'll grab what we can of this. Really, we need to take the Mega Miner because it's got lots of cargo space. It can hold all that. Alright, now that those are fully retracted, we can turn this up to 2. Don't want to lose track of what we're doing here. This is a little bit more time sensitive. Damn bug with the fully loaded cargo thing again. And it not wanting to actually move anywhere. It's only a problem when we're stopped. And if I just kind of turn the ship a little bit, it gets unstuck. So it's really weird. I don't know what causes it. It's kind of annoying. Keen, if you happen to watch my videos, I'd love you to fix it. Keen doesn't watch my videos. I can almost guarantee that. Shooting up some meteors like a boss. Ooh, we are heavy. Batteries off. Gyros, thrusters, antenna, lights. Put those away. How's this doing? It's done. Switch back into assembling mode so I don't forget, because I will. Change this to search for the large. We actually want container 1. And stone is on the priority list, so it's getting pulled. But it gets thrown to the end of the line. So it's waiting behind all of this uranium. Unless I come in and clear it. But actually, before I do that, I want to just go ahead and move it into here. Oh, stone's actually, no, stone is ahead of the uranium at least. Stone is not even on here. So I'm going to detect it. And then I'm going to clear. And clear. Now the stone's all going first. And as soon as that's done, it'll be back on the uranium. Let's shoot through that little bit of scrap that we had pretty quickly. Now the stone's gone. Now it's doing uranium. Now I'm going to come back and sit down so I'm not wasting energy. And then I'm going to go back and check on this, because this piston will now be at 2, which is where it's supposed to be. Go back to our radial pistons and put them back into extending mode. And watch the uranium come in. But yeah, we just need to send the Mega Miner over and clean that out with its large cargo container. And we also need to fly over to the ice station, turn up its antenna signal, since it's not a risk to do that, like I thought it might be initially. And you will also go ahead and pick up what ice we have and copy the ice station script. You can also just pull it off the GitHub, I guess. Pretty sure it's up to date. Anyway, we're done for now. Yeah, next episode I think we'll get back into the autopilot script, so if you've been waiting for that, wait no longer, it'll be tomorrow. So subscribe to see that. Likes, comments, and verbal abuse are welcome. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.